Well, obviously we couldn't just have that video be an hour long and leave it at that. That's unacceptable. Instead, we got to pad it out even further. So we're going to be taking a look here at Benjamin Mania and then Benjamin Mania 2. Um, so yeah, these are just basically books that go over the hobby and explain a lot of the basic stuff you need to know about beanies. A lot of stuff that I've covered before, so we're not going to look through these in their entirety, but there's a few things I wanted to point out in them. Um, but yeah, they're written by Becky Phillips, Becky Soro, because there's always got to be at least two of every name. Got two Karens in the Beanie group, two Beckys here. But yeah, it's I don't know too much about Phillips. I believe she like got into a different hobby later on, and I don't know really what happened with her. Uh, Esten Soro, she's the one who I'm familiar with because A, she's an admin in the Facebook group that I moderate for. B, she's the authenticator for True Blue Beans, which is one of the two only authentication services available right now. Six, she's like kind of one of the people behind the price guide. So basically, just kind of person who's been in the hobby and done a lot for it. But so before we take a look here, as tradition dictates, we first have to christen them with some sweet and sour sauce. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's just move on with it. So, like I said, not going to really look through this in all of its detail, but there's some interesting stuff I want to show here, such as the fact that no part of this may be reproduced in any means, such as through recording, so I should be fine. No, this book is 20 years old. It's not being sold anymore. I assume I should be fine. I looked through this very briefly before starting the video. I will point out that we have a couple things from the private collections of people with the last name Sobolewski, which was from the Mary Beth's Beanie World, Mary Beth Sobolewski, so I thought that was kind of interesting. Here's just a poem that may or may not have anything to do with the rest of the book. Spoilers, it may not. I'm going to go over a little bit of this intro stuff just to kind of show it off. If people want to pause and read the text, they are welcome to do so. But yeah, these are kind of some of the first cats that were released by Ty, long before Beanie started. Super rare nowadays. I will point this out because I think this is interesting for the timeline. I have always done my best to kind of try my best to figure out where tag generations start and end. And there's a number of ways you can do that. The easiest way is by knowing what possible tags can be on a beanie, and then when that beanie like kind of is known to have retired or something, and then you can kind of work backwards, figure out where it started and stopped, figure out what dates are wrong, that kind of stuff. I was never able to really pinpoint when the Gen 1 hang tag changed into Gen 2, and I'm pretty sure they ran simultaneously for a while, and a good reason for me to believe this actually is right here, because this isn't a Beanie Baby, but it has a hang tag that looks like the Gen 2 Beanie tag. Like, it very clearly opens up. It's not just the flat version. And that's from 1992, which was before Beanies even started, so it's almost like every time Ty made a new product line, they started with the flat tags and then escalated it to the other ones, like, later on. It's kind of weird, because, like, Attic Treasures did the same thing. I'm pretty sure those hit the Gen 2 tags before even the Gen 1 beanies happened, so I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I just wanted to point that out. Here we have just kind of a list of roughly when everything came out. A few of those are debatable. Yeah, hiccups. I figured I want to definitely show these. There's going to be more of these in Benjamin Mania 2, but prototypes are an interesting thing. I don't think we need much of an explanation for prototypes, but there it is if you need to pause it. But yeah, I'll talk more about these when we get to the second book. But yeah, they would just do these early versions with non-finalized colors, and here they've got like these little things attached to them that were sort of like samples of what the tie-dye color would look like. The other book should have the dinosaurs with like the three different colors attached, just kind of showing like what they want them to be like. Pointing this one out because I talked a little bit about pinchers and like punchers and that in the last video I did with the magazines, and how like there's differences with the tail segments. I had heard rumors, probably from the Beanie World magazines, that punchers had stuffed boxing glove type claws, hence the name. But pretty sure that's false and that it was just a typo. But this picture here of the prototype one does have stuffed claws, and that's probably where that rumor came from. And yeah, some of this kind of got revised later on with the idea of punchers being the original one and then it getting changed. It actually wasn't. It was early on, but it was not the first release, at least from what I've heard. Here's the 4 patties, which I've talked about in detail before, and I'll be showing in the video after this because that one's already recorded. Not much to say about Brownie, but I will point out the tag with the legal Dorito on it. Most of the rest of this is going to be just kind of going through either beanies that retired early or had variations and that kind of stuff, with honorable mention of Claude for some reason. Basically just whenever there was a like a beanie of the same animal, I guess. This page here needs to be just shared to everybody who doesn't understand Lucky and the like, oh man, mine has 12 spots, what does that mean? I like this picture of Slither being tied up in a knot. There is the highly elusive Fine Mane Derby. Do not see that one very often. There's its equivalent, which is not as rare, because I do have one. Obviously, that's the only way to tell that it's not rare, because I have it. Nice seeing all the teddies in one place. The Jade one always just looked black to me in the old magazines, and here it's no different. It's not quite that dark, but it's pretty dark. I'm actually curious. Let me grab mine. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, even in the camera here, it kind of depends on the lighting. I'm looking at the video and it looks like a dark blue almost, whereas in person it's more obviously a green. So it's definitely not as black looking as the one in the photo, but yeah. I'll be looking more at that one in the other video. Still want to get that white face nip. I think that thing's adorable. That's probably my favorite of all the cats, and it's the only one I'm missing. I actually have a tab open on eBay right now for one that is they're asking $40 for it, and that's not bad, but I'm also broke, so I probably shouldn't get it. This is a really pretty flutter. I've seen some pretty crappy ones in my day. I own a couple, and they are they're okay. One of them's better than the other. They're not bad. This one though's got like a full rainbow going on, and that's cool. There's a tie-dye Lizzie. I think I'll say, again, it's so weird saying like in the next video, which I've already recorded, I talk about how like I used to think that these were usually kind of like red and yellow, and this one doesn't do much to change my opinion on that, but I've definitely seen ones that aren't. Super floppy whiskers on that stripes there. I don't know if that's normal for it. Dinosaurs. I kind of, this, if anyone wants to pause it and look, this thing kind of talks about tusks. Tusks. Pointing up versus pointing down, which isn't ever really treated as a real variant, but it is noted in this book. I guess people stopped caring about it after this one, but I show that off in the video also. Yeah, not too much to say about most of these. If you don't know anything about beanies, it is a very good read because it tells you a lot of stuff that is good to know. But why do Maybe. Okay. Oh, okay. So that's where Echo got its name. Interesting. I'm like, why do we care about this random celebrity dolphin? It's a little weird. This is something I don't think I show in the other video. I don't mention Spooky versus Spook at all. First of all, I'm gonna mention, I hate it when Spooky has the mouth like super low on it like that because it looks like it has a really derpy pointy nose. It's supposed to just kind of be like an open smile, but when the red piece of felt is placed too low like that, it just looks bad. And I think the Beanie Buddy version of Spooky claims that some of them are made without that red piece, which is just wrong. But there's also like a few angles the V mouth can be in. This is definitely the Vlinny mouth. But yeah, Spooky, it was originally named Spook. Can I focus on this a little better? Yeah. So yeah, the Gen 3 hang tags on these say designed by Jenna Boldebuck, and I think that is the daughter of Ty Warner's girlfriend at the time, from what I've heard. But yeah, so it was originally released as Spook, and designed is spelled wrong, Desined. There's no G in it. And then it changed to Spooky, and they corrected the spelling of designed. I love it when beanies just have obvious stupid errors in them like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about them. So Spook is Gen 3 with Gen 1 tush tag only, and then Spooky is also available with that combination, and then also later ones. Not too important to know to the casual collector, but it is a good bit of trivia. You know what? I think I mentioned in the other video as well that they didn't have peace yet when they made this book, and that's obviously false, but you'll see why I said that later on. Now we just have a bunch of charts. This is just going over release dates, birthdays, that kind of stuff. Here is beanies with the same style number, beanies that have different birthdays, because Freckles and Scotty, hiccups, yeah. Freckles and Scotty can have 2 different birthdays on them. So here's talking about hang tags, and this was before the concept of the generations had been fully fleshed out. This never uses the word generation, it just says like version 1, version 2. But yeah, this was actually what established that. Hang tag generations were defined and popularized by, I heard it was just Becky Estensoro specifically. It might have been both of them together. Yeah, here we're going to be covering a lot of the miniature variations between them, which I do touch on in other videos, but I need to do a whole thing going over them just on their own. This right here seems like this is getting into really nitpicky territory, and it's like, who cares about this? But this is actually useful info for people who deal in high-end beanies with a lot of counterfeiting, because yeah, the older ones, like the ones with Gen 1 through 3 tags, can have these clear attachers, and they always come in like these specific sizes. A lot of people who reattach tags with like a tagging gun will use like incorrect sizes that are never used on like actual beanies, and so it's like a really minor thing you can kind of point out as like, hey, this beanie looks like it's been tampered with. So many minor variations on these. There we go. More charts. Nothing too earth-shattering here. This is just going over what different tush tags are on things. Here's some poem errors. Okay, so here's some oddities. This is what I was hoping to get to. Oddities are interesting. This is basically whenever you get people who are like, hey, my beanie has a speck of dirt on its face, does that make it rare? It's basically because of this, because you get the people who see actual oddities and then think that anything that's even slightly off has got to be something worth a fortune, and it usually is not. But yeah, these are a little more notable. So we got striped tail on Lizzie. We got basically any beanie that can have a flag. There's always like an upside down variant and then just a missing flag variant. Doesn't even have to be a flag. It can be like Valentino's heart, the like 2000 globe on Millennium, Princess Rose, that kind of stuff. So, inside out ear for Derby. 9-line Inky. Or 9-line, I'm thinking of Tank. 9-legged Inky. I'm liking this eyeless Quackers, that's slightly upsetting looking. That one's just doing a little jig. Missing flags. It's weird to me that none of these seem to have tags attached. That Lizzie does, but I guess some of them do, but it's just odd. Here's the Fuzzy Belly Stripes, which is kind of treated as its own separate variant that like actually counts as... It's usually not treated as an oddity, it's treated as like an actual variant of the dark version of Stripes. It's kind of weird. Oh yeah, Spot's usually supposed to have a black patch over one of its eyes. I'm just going to call that one Roadkill Stripes. Here's variations of the cutoff website tag, which is another thing I get into in a different video, so don't need to talk about it now. Let's see, got another teeny beanies, which these days are worth nothing, but back in the day they were like everyone's favorite thing to obsess over. I'm liking this weird prototype pinky with something on its leg. I can't even see what that says. It's like, yeah, it's just numbers. It's like 11834.pf.0028-9, something like that. I can't really tell. It's weird that these prototypes are like, Speedy is not supposed to look like this. Pinky does not have a red beak. So like, why did they make the teeny versions like that? I don't know. What's even different about Seymour? Slightly larger, duller white. Alright. And I guess we don't have any good letters. I don't know. Something about this picture is just like upsetting. I don't know. It has a very like 80s CG feel to it. Interesting that, first of all, teeny is spelled wrong on this, but also, I guess they were going to use Tabasco, but then they changed it to Snort because Tabasco changed January of 1997, and the teenies came out April that year. So that was kind of a last-minute change. Here's ranking by rarity. Do I have any of the 5 stars? I might have a brownie. I do have a deep fuchsia patty. I do have a spotless spot. And I have a solid black zip. See, actually, I've got quite a few of those. They're not in good shape, but I have them. This is just kind of, yeah, like it says on the top, market trend. Feel like I'm looking at something from the Wall Street Journal here. Okay, so here's some catalog covers. These are also cool. Worth looking at. I think these are going to be in the other book as well, but I haven't checked. So these are early things. I think Attic Treasures were 91, maybe 92, so this is all just the original tie plush. Okay, yeah, that looks like an Attic. Those over there definitely are. So those are pre-Beanie magazines. Didn't mention on this one, I mentioned for this one here, that looks like Hope. Hope is a Gen 5 beanie. It was released start of 1999, so what's it doing in this? It's not. That is, I think, also that looks like Hoppity. But yeah, Hope was actually designed after this one. I think that one went through 2 names. I want to say it was called Prayer Bearer or something generic like that at one point, and then it got changed to Hope later. Not sure exactly. So here's the here's the second batch of Gen 1 beanies after the original 9. I want to see if they're all here actually, because I do have all of them memorized. So we got Humphrey, Slither, Trap, Chili, Peking, Web, the 6 Teddies, Digger, which is orange version, Happy is gray version, Inky is tan version. And quick thing I want to mention about this one is this one does have the mouth on it. Original tan Inky didn't. I've actually seen some people say that the mouth on this one looks like it was just drawn onto the picture afterwards and it wasn't actually stitched on, and I can kind of see that. Inky without a mouth is weird because it is recognized as a version by like tie checklists and stuff, but it's just, I don't know, kind of odd. I don't know what else to say it. What else we got? 7 Spot Lucky, Fine Main Mystic, Wingless Quackers. Then we have Alley, which in this picture is looking a little weird. Normally that pattern on the back actually extends to the head as well. Speedy, Seymour, Goldie, Bones, Blackie, Daisy. That's all of them. So that is the second batch of 25 beanies from June of 1994. Most of them look pretty much like they're supposed to. The weird Alley and the possible missing mouth on Inky are the only exceptions. So, 1995 collection. Here we've got a batch of things that released in or as it says, 95. This was from June as well. So this one I've actually poured over trying to determine how accurate the like listed tie release dates are using this picture as a source. So first of all, we have Digger, Happy, and Inky are updated to their new colors. We're gonna not worry about the tie plush and I don't know if that's an addict, that's probably also a plush. But so those changed, and we've got Dinosaur Trio right here. Then we have Caw and Flutter. That Flutter's looking very colorful. That seems like an early design. They usually don't come out like that. Don't actually have Bumble, which most sources will say came out at the same time as Caw, Flutter, and the Dinosaurs as well, so I don't know why that one's missing. Then we got the Royal Blue Peanut. Sting, which in this picture has like a white belly. You can't really tell that well in the picture, but it is weird looking. Kiwi. There's Bubbles. Missing Coral in here, it looks like. Tie-Dye Lizzie. I have them all memorized in a certain order. I'm just trying to see if there's any I'm missing. There's Tabasco, Bessie. What else? So that one, this one's supposed to be Nana or Bongo, but it's like bright red, so that was obviously a prototype that changed later on. Inch isn't showing here. There's Derby, presumably the fine main version, not that you can tell from the picture. Magic, Ziggy, and there's Stripes also. Definitely not looking like the final version of Stripes. It's kind of like an orange color with super light stripes on it. Then we got Velvet, Waddle, Stinky, and looks like no Pinky. So yeah, there's 4 of them that I think are supposed to be in this batch that aren't in the image. Those might have come out later. And then there's Stripes, which is specifically listed by Tie as coming out like 6 months later than this, but it's in this magazine. So either it wasn't finalized yet and it was like in this group shot, but then it wasn't actually sold, or it did come out earlier. The other 4 might have been in this magazine, but just weren't pictured. Might have come out later. Hard to say. For most people, they're like, who cares? For me, I like to track this stuff. Here's the start of 96 book. And actually here, right off the bat, we've got Inch, which was one that was missing from the other book. Updated Light Blue Peanut. Twigs was a new release. Most of the rest of this looks like stuff that's been around. And these are the June 96 releases, the first Gen 4s to come out. Couple things to point out here is that the only one of these to actually have a tag pictured is Liberty. That one is credited as being the first Beanie to ever have a Gen 4 tag, so that is definitely possible that they made that one before they made the others. Also, Righty usually doesn't have the flag on that side of its body. It's usually on the other side, so that got changed at some point. There's the one that I looked through earlier in the unboxing. And these posters I very much enjoy. I'm glad that these are in the book. I wish I had a full version of these. I think this one in particular, it might have been this one, but I think it was this one, was on the outside of a coffee shop that I used to buy a lot of my beanies from when I was a kid. And I remember looking at this poster a lot just to kind of see what some of them looked like, because we got some old ones in here that retired by the time I started collecting. We got dinosaurs. There's Bumble, Flutter. Where's Caw? There's Caw. But yeah, we've also got the old version of Tank. What else is in here that's old and weird? That looks like probably 7-spot Lucky. A little hard to tell. Nip, you can't really tell if it has the white paws or not, but Zip definitely does, so this was after those changed over. And this has the January 96 introductions, but not the Gen 4s from June of 96, so somewhere between those two times. So I've tried to kind of figure out, when did Nip and Zip change? Because I can use this poster as a way to determine that, but all I know for sure is it was sometime between January and June. Doesn't really narrow it down that well. And then this one is this one is definitely Gen 4. If you couldn't tell from the fact that this thing is on the Gen 4 hang tag, we've got the Liberty in there with that, but all the other ones seem to still have the older tag. This one I'm not going to point out as much stuff. It still has the dinosaurs, Bumble, Caw. I assume Flutter's in there. Yeah, right there. Still the old version of Tank. Where is Tank? I don't. Oh yeah, there it is. That's definitely the old version of Tank. I think that's pretty much it for this book. I can't believe this is already almost within 30 minutes, good lord. I do show this image in the other video, but I'll just kind of show it off here anyway. This is just kind of a group shot of everything that was kind of on the market at the time that this book was published. A couple of them are a little debatable, it's got the 11 and 21 spots of Lucky. But I don't know how long 21 spot was on the market. Couldn't say really. It's got both versions of Bongo down there. And Peace not shown, because they didn't have it yet when they took the photo. Is that about it for this one? I know it's kind of blurry. I'll fix it when we get to the other book here. Yes, there's Becky and Becky. Here's the dinosaurs. I thought this was in the other book. Yeah, you can kind of see the colors that they wanted to go with on these. I think that's pretty neat. So let's look through the other one. I will try my best to not go over everything again, because there's just not much reason to. Let it be known, I will geek out over very minor details. I like this thing here. Fun fact, yeah, his name is H. Ty Warner. His first name is just the letter H. He doesn't actually have a name. It's pretty good. That is a great description of a person right there. Definitely well familiar with that image, because that was the header of the Beanie Baby Collector Facebook group. has been replaced with something else since then, but that was there for a long time. So yeah, again, when I do my timeline stuff, I use stuff like this as a source, but I don't treat this as gospel, because I feel like over time some of it has kind of, like, more evidence has come up. Mostly minor stuff, like I don't know what Spooky's doing with this group. These two were probably 96. I don't know. It's not important. Another kind of interesting color on flutter there. It's just, why did none of these beanies have tags attached? That's so weird. Like, especially like the Royal Blue Peanut. It's sad to see one without it. Yeah, here we go. So when I was going through that image earlier, it was Bumble, Coral, Inch, and Pinky that I pointed out specifically as being missing from that one image, because according to this book, they came out at the start of 96. Did they? Couldn't say. They might have. Radar and Spooky are listed as being like October 95. They're kind of like their own thing, separate from other releases. It's kind of weird. Here's more recent history. Once you get into 97, it's a lot easier to track stuff because most of it is posted on the official website. There's that stupid clear sticker tag there. Special Olympics maple, I've got one of those. Okay, hold on. So Patricia Roche, the namesake of Patty the Platypus, letter read, Committee for the Diana Princess of Wales Foundation authorized this bear just recently. We were only able to have a small amount done before 1998. Just so you know, there will be one small shipment of Princess this year, and in 1998, everyone should be able to get one. There'll be no difference in the tags or anything else, so there'll be no reason for anyone to pay outrageous amounts for this bear. I love the attempt. Oh boy, if they did not switch the pellet type, then that would have been true. No one would know what the original batch was. And nobody would care. Well, some people probably would, because misinformation. Actually, hold on. Didn't we read a thing about that in one of the magazines last time? About, like, Ty going after Kmart for selling beanies, like, with unofficial, like, accessories or something? I don't even remember. Oh boy, the confusion that is Iggy and Rainbow. I'm not even gonna look into how they have them worded here. So, let's just take a look at, I'm mostly looking for new prototypes and oddities. I know there's a lot of oddities in this book. Pretty much already saw these before, but figure we'll look at them again. There's those two again. Okay, this is where we can kind of skip ahead. So, yeah, this book came out, I think it was right after the winter releases. I think they're in the very back of the book. Yeah. So this was released, like, right after, this was probably like October 98. So, yeah, we don't need to worry about these, because we've seen them all. And just like that, we've skipped a pretty big portion of the book. And now we're getting into more Wall Street Journal. Don't care. Lots of useful information that I have already covered. I'm noticing the CE sticker on the tag. That's kind of funky. I don't know what to say about that one. I love the Harry Carey tag. There's one of the clubby tags, the less common of the two. I'm liking this breakdown here. Slight crease, can't even see it in the image. Noticeable crease, still can't see it in the image. Noticeably FAT. Numerous creases, mangled tag. Yeah, that one's seen better days. Oof. Oh man, that right there is a tragedy. The albino Gen 1 hang tag. Good lord. Places that do this get on my nerves. Made sense back in the day because they didn't know they were going to be collector's items, but man, there is nothing worse than going to a thrift store and finding like an old rare beanie and the frickin' thrift store itself like wrote, you know, like 49 cents on the tag. It's like, really? This thing has gone like 20 years without being damaged and then they had to ruin it right at the end. It's like how shadows are disrespectful. It's like, man, these light rays traveled all these millions of miles from the sun to the earth just to get blocked by you. They couldn't quite make it to the ground. Classical mistakes. There's a lot of good information in this book. It's stuff that I have pretty much either already covered or need to cover in another video anyway. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time looking through these. If people want to pause and try to look through all of the blurriness, then they're welcome to do so. Oh boy, there's the B9 Babies collection, my favorite. Stupid error. Okay, manufacturing oddities. Here's where we get into the good stuff. That is a fish that exists. Coral with corduroy-like material. I see what it means. It's... Can you tell in the camera? I don't think you can. I can tell from the image looking at it in real life, but yeah, it's got like vertical stripes. It has like a weird like texture to it. My bear has no nose. How does he smell? Terrible. Yes, that curly wasn't very curly. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy, was he? Daisy without a spot. Seen you before. Seen the backwards ear derby. Oh, yeah, that's like a lighter brown for the tail on that one. Lorino flag, seen that before. I like the half black hissy, that one's weird. Gobbles had an accident. There's a very rare beanie that has an oddity on it. That's interesting. Because usually when you think of the manufacturing issues, it's with the more common ones that they've made like millions of. Humphrey is a pretty rare one. 9-leg Inky, and oh, geez, there's a 10-leg. Yep. Yes, I've seen these before with like the yarn on it that isn't actually cut. Couldn't say if that actually is worth much. To some people it might be. Any of the beanies without eyes are just uncomfortable to look at. They make me upset. Like I said, missing flag and upside down flag. Gotta have it every time. Now this one, this one's a pretty good exception to my rule of the exact amount of spots doesn't matter. Because on this one, yeah, it used both types of fabric on one. That's funky. What the crap? How'd that one happen? I like the 7 legs. Flag. Yeah, it's supposed to be like this. This one, that's running the wrong way. Seen those before. This one's probably my favorite on the bottom right here. So radar with 3 feet. Because yeah, it's supposed to have like this little finger on the front, but it has another foot on the front. This one has its back legs were replaced by another thumb and just a second tush tag. Like the tush tag is supposed to be over here. They just kind of gave it a second one instead of a foot. I think that's hilarious. Like, who is responsible for this one? Did they just run out of the foot and they're like, oh, well, gotta attach something to it. There's a lot of radar ones here, jeez. Why does it have eyebrows? Maybe that's just the stitching that's supposed to hold on the hat, but it's like done weirdly. I don't know. String on scarf instead of yarn. Oh, yeah, I'm seeing that. It's a little hard to tell. It's supposed to be kind of like a kind of thick but like unraveled yarn, and this is just kind of like longer strings. It's kind of weird. Oh, Fuzzy Belly Stripes has made a new appearance. So many eyeless beanies. Too bad there's no Whisper with no eyes, or otherwise I could say no idea. Just the edge of the fabric that didn't get the dye on it, I guess. I think I've actually seen a backwards leg stretch posted on Facebook before. Huh. Oh, there's light colored Fuzzy Belly Stripes. I did not know about that one. There's the Roadkill one. Fuzzy Head Stripes. What is it with the striped fabric always having these like weird fuzzy things? Oh good, it's the 9-line with shell version of Tank with only 7 lines. Horizontal stitching on shell? Yeah, I guess so. Kinda see that. A little hard to tell. Weird. Thin and wide striped fabric. What? There are 2 versions of Ziggy, but they're really hard to tell apart. I think like this leg is using the wide striped fabric and the rest of it's the thin. It's really hard to say. I would have not ever noticed that. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, it's not supposed to have a ribbon like that. See, now that one you can't even prove that it came that way. That could have just been put on by somebody later. Okay, and that's the end of the oddities, so let's see if there's anything else worth showing in the book. Focus, please, come on. I've seen all these already. I've seen these for sale before. I had someone actually post these on, I don't think it was my subreddit, I think it was the r/Beanie Babies one, before it got like new ownership. Somebody posted this and they're like, is this anything special? Like, what could I sell this for? Somebody responded, oh, well, teeny beanies are actually only worth like 25 cents each, so no, it's nothing. And I'm like, okay, hold on. These aren't teeny beanies. These are like the full-sized ones. And I went through like this really long explanation of like what all was included in there, because I could tell like it came out at this particular time. You can see like these ones were retired, but these ones weren't. It's got these releases. It says it includes 77 beanies, and I did the math, and I'm like, yeah, there were 78 released at that time, and one of them's Maple, which was Canadian exclusive, so it makes sense that one wasn't in there, so 77 sounds about right. So he's got 2 responses. One of them's just like, nah, man, it's nothing, and then I gave like this super long, like, detailed answer. That just looks like a grandma. Am I wrong? Also, hold on, that's just the full-sized inch. That's not even the teeny beanie version. Or no? No, it is the teeny version. Oh, you can't even really tell. I think I've got these pins. I have pins for most of the teenies. Hey, Mario! Not a whole lot to say about the sports, like, commemorative ones. They're not too terribly interesting. I only got 2 of them because one of them had a unique tag and one of them was the first one ever made. I'm just like, that's good enough for me. Here's just, you know, guy being buried in swans. There's a lot of these. And we're coming up on the end here. I don't think there's a whole lot more that I really care about. Beanie Baby chat rooms. Weird time. Don't think those exist anymore. Actually, I don't know if chat rooms in general exist anymore unless you count like Discord. Spinner second with a red arrow pointing to eye needing repair. Huh, okay. I have seen I've seen pictures of beanies with like a little sticker on it that has like a Chinese character that basically says like poor quality or something, like it was like a reject. We got some counterfeits. These are kind of neat. Most of these are pretty obvious. I always like the ones that are just like, hey, look, it's a prototype. It's supposed to be the wrong color. It's like, no. Oh, that's a terrible nib. I think that's in. I think I've seen that one in the video. There was like. Yeah, there's a VHS tape of just like identifying like how to identify counterfeit beanies or something, and I think somebody, well, I know somebody, I just don't know the person who did it, but like somebody made a video that was just like an edit of the entire thing where it's just Beanie Babies, Beanie Babies, Beanie Babies, Beanie Babies, BeanieMom.com, Beanie Babies China, Beanie China, China, Beanie Babies China. It's kind of funny. I think that one actually had Becky and possibly Peggy. I don't remember all who that was in there. So yeah, we've seen all these pretty much. This one's new, but it's nothing too incredible. I liked looking at the photos with all the old beanies in it and determining kind of like when the photos were taken and all that. Time Warner's personal collection of prototypes prominently displayed throughout the store. That would have been a cool place to visit. I wonder if that's where Wooly Brown is. It probably says it somewhere. Wooly Brown is the one attic treasure that I know to have value. There's more oddities. Can we see what these are? Looks like those dinosaurs with the little tie-dye patches on them and the yellow flutter and all that stuff that we've already seen. Of course it did. Ooh, there's like the original Himalayan cat. Yeah, that's a pretty rare shelf. And then you've just got Kiwi. Kiwi was considered rare at one point. A collected display of rare teddies. They enjoyed the Beanie Baby exhibit so much that kid's just like, when do I get to get out of here? Not sure about this Toy Fair Congo. That's so this was actually commemorative for the book itself, which is interesting because the book was not officially licensed. I mean, from what I understand, Ty gave like the permission to make the book, but it wasn't like an official Ty product or anything. But then like later on, he's just like, actually, no, I'm not okay with it anymore. I'm just gonna kind of take all your profit. Pretty good stuff. I don't know the full story there. I'm probably overly simplifying that. Okay. Well, that does it for Benjamin Mania 2. So, I have no idea what I'm doing. Will I even keep this as its own video, or will I tag it onto the other one? I don't know yet, but you know, because you just watched it. And at some point, I'm going to be uploading the other thing that I've already recorded. And then at some point, I'll die, but hopefully not for a long time.